Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.
Welcome to the meat market. The single scene is an absolute slaughterhouse, and we are here to devour it. We are your hosts. I'm Lindsay.
I'm Jess.
And today's sizzling single is Pete. Meet Pete. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
So you have some crazy dating stories, including a first date where the woman grabbed your crotch. We want to hear that story.
Yeah, the thing about that date is that it started out fantastic. We got along great, and normally for a first date, I'll do a coffee or one drink. And so that's what we planned there, was a happy hour, and it was great. Everything was good, beautiful smile, wonderful woman. We got along great. And so had dinner and then decided to go see a band and dance and everything. Well, we get to this place and she just flipped. Like, I don't know if she did drugs or something during that date, but it was bizarre. She just did, and she just kind of started, I don't know, getting really weird. And so I'm like, okay, it's time for us to go. And I wasn't going to let her drive home because she clearly was in no good state. And so that's a really long story. But eventually I finally get her address and bring her home. And then she couldn't get in her house. She couldn't get the key in the door and all this stuff. Oh my God. It was just
Express.
Oh my God. It actually is even worse than that. I'll tell you this part. I shouldn't. So we pull up into her driveway and she takes off her seatbelt and jumps basically across my seat and starts making out with me, right? And I'm just I'm like, whoa, no, right? Look, she was beautiful and everything, but like the end of that, had it been just the drink and we end up at her house, that may have been different, but it was really awkward at this live band thing. So anyway, I'm sitting there trying to get her off me. Her garage door opens, and there's her son staring at us. Oh, yeah.
Is she still on top of you at this point?
Yes.
Oh, cringe.
Oh, I know.
How old is her son?
Oh, he was probably 17, 18.
Oh, how embarrassing.
Although he's probably seen this before, I'd imagine.
I was going to say the same thing. I have a feeling this probably isn't the first time he's seen something like this
happen. How embarrassing for you.
Yeah. I was horrified. Well, so I'm like, hey, I'm like, your son. And so she's like, oh my gosh, she was so embarrassed. She's like, move. So I moved over, I moved out of the way. Her son backs out and leaves. And then, I pull back into her driveway and I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here. Like, this date needs to end. And so she gets out, and then, like I mentioned, she's fumbling getting her keys in the door. So I get out and go up to the door, help her keys. And then she sticks her hand down my pants.
So it wasn't over the clothes. She actually puts her hands down your pants.
It is.
It wasn't over the clothes.
She's feisty.
Let's just say there was a firm grip. Yeah, so there's no getting away from this, right? It was not good. So finally I got out of there, and yeah, it was not good.
The important question is, did she still want you to stay and hang out after the hand down the pants? Because was she doing a size check? She was like, am I going to invite this guy to stay overnight? Yes or no?
Well, so the add-on that I left out of the story, she's like, we are going to fuck. And I'm like, oh no, we are definitely not. I can't believe we're opening this segment with this story.
These cougars are crazy.
So this is so not me. But yeah, so I ended up, I got out of there, and no, we did not.
Was there a second date?
So she called me the next day, kind of oblivious to, I don't think she remembered anything after dinner. And I told her in detail what went down. And she was horrified. She's like, you know what? Let me make it up to you. We gotta. She's like, that's not me. I don't know what happened. I'm like, I think I've had enough. I think I'm good.
So interesting. So, did she have a lot to drink on the date?
No, we had one drink pre-dinner. We shared a bottle of wine. So what is that? Maybe two glasses.
Yeah.
And then, then there was a span of time before we got to the band, and she hadn't even drank her vodka soda. So it wasn't that much. That's why I'm saying I think she, and I don't think she was roofied by someone, because I was there the whole time.
Yeah.
It was she went to the bathroom, and the only thing I can assume is that she did shrooms or something. Like
She
there
took
has to be
something.
Something to fuck around real quick.
Yeah. I mean, it was bizarre. Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe you opened with it.
That's a good story. So tell us about you. What do you enjoy doing? What are your hobbies? What are you looking for?
Yeah. So I'm a pretty active person. I love the sun that we have down here in Phoenix, and I like being outside, be it happy hours. I run 2 to 3 days a week with my dog, and I go to the gym a few times a week. I'm very involved in hockey. It's probably my favorite pastime.
Hockey or ice hockey?
Ice hockey.
Okay.
Ice hockey. Yeah, those of us
Okay.
from the north.
Well, in England, we play field hockey.
Field hockey. Yeah, no,
Just
it's a
confirming.
good qualifying question. Yeah, no, ice hockey. So I spend. I have season tickets to ASU, and my son plays hockey on 2 different teams, and so.
And you like to travel. You've had a lot of crazy fun travel stories.
I have, yeah, I do love to travel. I travel a lot for work, but personally, I love to travel too. Yeah, I had a great trip to Europe where just randomly ended up seeing Pearl Jam in Budapest.
So that was your divorce vacation,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
tell that story. It's an interesting
Yeah,
story.
it's great. So I went with a friend, and our plan was, we were just kind of looking at cost of everything, and so our plan was to fly into Munich, and then take a train to Budapest, and then fly to Amsterdam, and then home from Amsterdam. Great trip, right? Great cities. I love them all.
Because when you get divorced, the first place you need to go is Amsterdam.
Red district, baby.
The number one spot in the world to go
There's
after your divorce. It's like divorce trip, Amsterdam.
Well, I'm not interested in that, but yes, Amsterdam's a great town, by the way. I love Amsterdam. But so we're in Munich, and our plan was 3 nights there, and then 2 nights in Budapest, and then 2 nights in Amsterdam. Well, after 2 nights in Munich, where we didn't get back to the hotel room till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and by the way, this is like, you're not going to see me at the clubs in Old Town or anything like that. But when you're in Munich, you do as they do. We'd get up and run in the morning, and then spend all night. But after a couple nights, we were tired of this, so we decided to split the trip and go to Vienna, which was great. And then we went from Vienna, and on the way down to Budapest, we got an announcement on the train that there was an accident up above, and the train couldn't get us all the way to Budapest. So they were going to drop us off at this little village, and that I'd never heard of. So we started talking to the people around us, and there ends up being 7 of us. Some people, France, Germany, Italy, Croatia. I mean, there was like just this eclectic group. And we decided, okay, all of us are going to look for a way to get from this village to Budapest. And, but you have to find for 7. It's all for one for all. So this woman from Italy finds this way. So before we get to this little village, we're set. There's the hotel's sending a van out to pick us up. Well, they dump this train of 900 people probably off in this little village that probably only had, like your hometown, like 1,000 people in it, right? So it was mayhem. The train just went back the other way. There's no buses, there's no Uber, there's no taxis. Just everybody's stuck here trying to find their way home. But we're already set. So this guy named Martin goes into this little tiny gift shop, buys all the beer they have, and it was a beautiful day. We sit out on this picnic table and are drinking beer, getting to know each other. And then he looks across at the 2 of us. He's like, hey, I have 2 extra tickets for Pearl Jam tomorrow night if you want to join us. And we're like, yeah. So
why not?
Yeah, exactly. So it was awesome. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you have any unique talents or unique facts that not many people know about you?
I guess one thing, I mean, most people know this, but I'm adopted, raised by a great family. It was awesome. I wasn't want for anything, but maybe about 6 years ago, my ex-sister-in-law gets the entire family a 23andMe test, right? So I take the test more to find out kind of some medical background, which I know nothing about. And I find, one of the results come back. I don't know if you've ever taken these things, but like a typical.
I've done one on my dog.
Oh, wow. Are you
It's got to be the same thing. It's totally the same thing. Well, most people related to you are like less than 1% related. I mean, you and I are probably less than 1% related. Like there's just nothing. But I had one person 25% related. And it said, and then it predicts like what your relationship is, right? And it says grandson. I'm like, okay.
What?
I know. I'm like, okay, I've done a lot of crazy shit in my life, but I know I don't have a grandson, right?
That's funny.
So, but I reach out to the person and they never responded. And then time goes on, I decide to log back in, and based on all the new people related to me that have entered in, it changed that to half brother. And I'm like, whoa, now I'm really interested. So I started digging in and doing all this stuff. And fast forward, I end up in San Diego for a hockey tournament with my son. And while there, I find my birth dad. And he lives on Coronado Island. Like, literally, I'm in San Diego, and he lives on Coronado. And so I met him the next day.
Oh, how cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and and so we have a great relationship. I see him all the time. And then, just about 4 months ago, I found my birth mom.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Super cool.
Yeah, so it's been really cool. She lives in Tennessee.
So are both of your birth parents and your adopted parents, are they all still alive?
My mom passed away just like the October prior to COVID, or September. But no, my dad's 87, lives in central Minnesota, so it's still golfs every day, and every day.
Yeah.
You can in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I wanted to touch on this. So you said you were married for 20 years.
Yep.
But you had said after the first 2 years, you and your wife never kissed.
No.
She was not affectionate with you. And
No.
how long did you go without sex?
Well, I mean, it was pretty benign. When we did, missionary in bed at night, lights off. It was. But I mean, there would be periods of time it'd be over a year. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know. Yeah, it was not ideal. She's a great person, a really good human being, a wonderful mom. But I just the compatibility just wasn't there.
Is that why you ended up getting divorced?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it just. And there was some things. It was interesting. My cousin, who I'm extremely close to, she lives in Fort Collins, Colorado, and she got married over COVID, or remarried, I should say, over COVID, and so they didn't have a party then, of course. But right after COVID, she had a party, and this was right after I had moved out. We weren't divorced yet, but we were going through the process, and I went up for their wedding reception, and like I saw all these people I hadn't seen in 2-3 years, and they were all like, this is the person that we've missed all these years. Aww. And so I think I was so out of place and unhappy in that in that marriage that I became a person that I wasn't normally, and so it's just been really like a huge weight off my shoulders, and it's been good to enjoy life again.
Yeah. Did you guys get married young?
No. In fact, I was old.
Yeah.
I was well, not old. I was 30 when we got married, and then we didn't have kids until I was 39.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
And was intimacy? Were you guys good with intimacy at the beginning?
No.
And it changed, or was there never?
There was never
good
there.
intimacy.
Before I met her, I had been cheated on by my 2 previous girlfriends. And then I met this woman who's, very loyal, great values, strong, good person. And it was so refreshing from what I had been through that I kind of thought, that isn't important.
Yeah.
All these other values, alignment, and all these other things are more important. And, I lived and learned.
Yeah.
So how long ago did you get divorced?
Let's see, I guess it's officially been 2 years. I moved out 4 years ago.
So you feel you're finally ready to get back in the saddle and
Yeah.
start dating?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I did the whole dating app thing for a while. I haven't been on a dating app for probably 6 months. And so I have been out dating. I did date a woman for about a year. Wonderful person, but she lives in Austin, Texas, and the distance she wasn't going to move here. I wasn't going to move there, and we had to make the difficult decision to.
So what is your ideal partner? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for someone who's active, who's willing to try new things. I probably wouldn't fit real well with somebody who's tight and rigid and needs to be controlling. I want to take an interest in their interest. I want them to be willing to take an interest in my interests. Open communication is really important to me. I'm a pretty open person. I don't leave much in the dark, and that communications. But I generally just really want to enjoy life. I kind of look at life like, you can't do anything about yesterday, so there's no sense really living with regret. We don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow. So we just really need to enjoy every single day that we're on this earth. And I kind of want somebody to share that philosophy. Now, I think it's important to plan for the future, but live for today. But no, I really do try to do that. I think it's amazing. I think we're so blessed to live in this incredible city, and I just really enjoy every day I'm alive.
So you had told me that you've been catfished before, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
From the apps?
Yes.
When you were on the apps?
Probably why it's not on the apps anymore.
Yeah. Most of the people I met on the apps were really good people. There just wasn't a connection from one reason or the other. But this was the very first person who I started communicating regularly with on an app. So I'm fresh in fact, I wasn't even officially divorced yet at this point. I had moved out. I'd been living on my own for a little while. But this woman and I started texting, and she was a triathlete. And so we could never meet because she was always with her running coach or her biking coach, and it should have been a red flag. I mean, I've learned a lot since then.
Yeah.
But we'd talk on the phone all the time, and anytime I would want to do like a FaceTime, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. Again, another red flag. Well, anyway, eventually, a few months later, or a couple months later, I should say, we finally decide to meet. And she gets there like a half hour early, and I'm like, I hadn't even left home yet. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll see you there. She's like, hey, I'm sitting at the bar, come find me. Well, this place we met had this huge bar. Like, it probably seats 50 people. And so I walk into this door, and I walk all the way around the bar, all the way back. I don't see this woman anywhere. I'm thinking, maybe she's in the restroom or something, right? And so I go to this high top behind the bar, and this woman stands up, and she's like, hi, don't you recognize me? And I'm like, I'm literally, the first thing in my mind is that she's got me have me mixed up with a different
somebody else.
Date. Yeah. She looked nothing. I mean, hey, look, I respect all individuals and everything, but she represented herself as this fit triathlete. And let's just say that the person that stood up in front of me, it would be humanly impossible for a person of that dimensions.
He's trying to be so politically correct.
To run a mile, much less do a triathlon. There's no way.
Poor girl.
I know. Look, I respect all individuals. It's just don't represent yourself as one thing when that was you maybe 15 years ago.
Yes.
Right?
Were her photos of her when she was more fit?
100%.
And okay.
So the photos like 20 years old?
It wasn't just her saying, I'm training for this triathlon, I'm meeting with my coach, but the pictures 100%. That she put out online.
Oh, they were of her running and like she had one of her just getting, yeah, exactly. Nice pose. Of her like just getting done with a swim, like everyone was her doing some athletic thing.
I don't get why people do that. It's so embarrassing. It's so cringe that you show up using other pictures that don't reflect who you are. I would hate to disappoint someone. I'd prefer to look better in person and worse in pictures.
Yes.
I know.
I want to make someone happy, not disappoint them.
Like me showing up with like a long mullet.
Yeah. Right?
Well, and that is kind of a red flag too, because it's like those people who peaked in high school where you're like, it's like, okay, we get it. The triathlons or the triathlete era of your life maybe was your peak. And so you're wanting to hold on to that. But it's like, if that was 10 years ago, you got to let it go, babe. Right. You got to let it go.
Yeah, you are who you are now. Enjoy who you are now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it?
Are you
I'm
ready
not
for it,
sure
Pete?
what I'm ready for here.
The Keep More Minute, sponsored by Tactical Tax Strategies. They help you keep more in your wallet. We help you keep more in your love life. All right, let me grab my question here. We've got a listener question.
Uh-oh.
Sam in Scottsdale says, I am married and have a stepdaughter. I have to co-parent with my husband's ex, and she is constantly letting her daughter down, canceling plans, canceling pickups, and she just doesn't prioritize her daughter at all. She puts everything else before her own daughter. My husband doesn't want to rock the boat, but I feel this needs to be brought to her attention. I feel I can't hold my tongue much longer. What do I do?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah. I think my advice would be there for the daughter. Focus on your relationship with your daughter. I don't think it ever puts you in a good place to talk, especially to the kids, poorly about their mother or father.
Agreed.
So I think I would just focus and when the mother can't pick up the daughter, be there for the daughter and enjoy the time that you just got a bonus time, right? You weren't supposed to have that time, and just really focus on the daughter. I wouldn't put pressure on the husband to confront, and I wouldn't put. I certainly wouldn't talk to mother. That would be. I don't think that ends well, and it doesn't change the behavior.
Yeah, and I feel like you don't want to create havoc in your own family. Like that should be number one. And if her husband is telling her, "Don't say anything. I don't want to rock the boat," you shouldn't go behind his back, right? Because then it'll cause a rift in your own family.
Totally agree.
So you kind of have to respect him. And I mean, is there a nice way to maybe talk to the mother and say, hey, we just hate to see her disappointed. We hate to see her continuously let down. Or no, I don't know. Is there a nice way?
I mean, as the person coming, so my last like significant relationship, he had 2 kids. And that was my thing from the beginning, was like, I'm not trying to be another mother to your kids, because I'm not their mother and I'm never going to be their mother. And even if I disagree with something that, you know, the other parent is doing, I don't feel like it's your place as the person who's dating, you know, because let's see, she's married. It's her stepdaughter.
I think she just cares about the stepdaughter. She doesn't want to see her being continuously let down.
Yeah. But still, it's like, those aren't your children. And you have to remember that at the end of the day, you know, you marry someone and you marry their family, sure. And if they have kids, you accept their kids. But you also have to remember that you're the bonus parent. Yeah. You're not the parent, you know. I don't know. That's how I always felt about it anyways, being, you know, dating someone with kids. Like at the end of the day, they're your kids and it's your decisions to make, and you know.
Although you're not their mother, you're still a role model.
But yes, exactly.
And over the course of time, if that continues, when that child is older and can make their own decisions, they're going to choose to spend more time with you. And so long run, just be there for the kid.
And that too, I think is more of the stance that I took, like, which I really never had this situation where I was worried about the other parent being negligent or anything like that. But it's like, that's what I would do. Like if the other parent were to do that, like, hey, here, I will be present so you can see the actions of someone who is present and who is there for you. You know what I mean? More so like leading by example and being a role model versus trying to insert yourself. Because if you insert yourself, even if you have good intentions and you mean well, you're likely going to create drama.
That's right.
Like it's going to start a fight. Yeah. It just is.
And at some point it'll affect the kid.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
the last thing you want to
Exactly.
do.
And that should be the number one priority in the whole situation
100%.
is the kid and what's best for the kid.
Yeah.
I agree. So now we're going to discuss 2 articles. So the articles, I was researching ways to spice up your marriage. You know, after you told me your story about how there was no intimacy and no kissing, I found 2 articles, one that was for a female audience and one that was geared towards a male audience.
Which one are we going with here?
Both. We can go both of them because I like to compare. So the first one is the one that has a high male audience. So they say, and I'll just go through this, we can discuss each one. Ways to spice up your marriage: relax together, you know, do a staycation, spa day where you can just spend one-on-one time together, free from distraction.
I like that.
Right? It's a good one. Embrace the romance. This is imperative. We've talked about this before. You got to keep the romance alive. It's really easy when you're married with kids, especially, to fall into that roommate category. You got to keep that spark alive. They say candlelight dinners, write love letters, engage in slow dances in your living room or while you're cooking.
What if you're not like a cheesy person?
Have you
like,
ever?
That gives me like the ick a little bit.
Have you ever slow danced in your living room?
No.
I have never.
I've never.
No, and I don't like have a strong desire to do so.
No, it's not
like,
on my bucket list.
No, same. It's like not something I find myself like longing to do.
And I feel like if I was to initiate that with my husband, he would start laughing at me. He'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" You know, so maybe not that one.
Is this the women one?
This is the male.
This is the male.
Okay.
This
is what's a male?
Okay.
Audience.
So no, I'm surprised a male would say that he wants to lay around all day and like.
Well, or is this written by a woman for males? Is this
See,
something?
The
That's what it
the
seems
audience
like.
is
The
males,
audience is supposed to be males. Okay.
Supposed to be males. Okay, recreate your first date. I love this one.
That actually is cute.
That is really cool.
Right? I want to do that with my husband.
You know, especially if you've moved and like you have to like travel back to the place where you had your first date. That's
be
that's
cool.
pretty cool. I like.
Well,
that
what
one.
was your first? I feel like we've talked about your first date before.
We went to Evo and then we
bowling,
went
didn't you?
where I kicked my husband's butt and he blamed it on a pinched nerve.
No, he did. He sticks to that story to this day.
Yeah, and he showed me the X-rays. He was like, "See, I have an X-ray."
Oh, he did not.
He brought his receipts.
Oh, come
That's
on.
hilarious.
I bust his balls all the
That's
time
funny.
over that. So then the next one is affirm each other with words, express your love, gratitude. I think that's important to constantly, you know, I love you.
Yeah, that has to just be incorporated throughout. I think when that starts to stop, there's a conversation that needs to be had.
Agreed. Increase physical touch. Holding hands. I love that. Me and my husband still hold hands all the time. We walk our kids into school holding hands and we get so many people, so many other parents that are shocked. Oh my God, you guys look like you've only been together a year. Like you're still in the honeymoon phase. I'm like, because we're holding hands? Like, do not a lot of people do that when they're married?
No, I think they do. My parents still hold hands with each other. But I think it depends on if that's like your thing. Like I'm not a big toucher. Like I don't... Like if I'm comfortable with someone, I'm okay with them touching me, but like I'm not a big hugger. I'm not a big, like I don't like people touching me that much. So like
right?
that, yeah.
So like that's you're not a cuddler in bed.
No.
Are you a cuddler in bed, Pete?
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I'm trying to get my dog to like lay in bed with me, but he will not come up the stairs.
Aw.
I know.
That's sad. I just started bringing my old dog, my 17-year-old dog, in bed with me to cuddle again because I'm like,
you cuddle with her. She's a grumpy little lady.
Not anymore. Now that she's got dementia, she forgot how much of a bitch she is.
That is hilarious.
That is funny.
She's sweet again now, like when she was a puppy.
Aw, how cute.
No, I think that's awesome. Like when you're walking or driving down the street and you see like a older couple holding hands walking down the street. I think I love that.
I do too. I think it's cute.
Yeah, absolutely. Plan quality time. This is huge. You have to plan regular date nights or engage in shared hobbies. Again, when you're married, you have to do date night.
For sure.
I agree.
I totally agree with that.
Explore new interests together, cooking classes, dance classes.
I think it's great. I love that stuff.
I don't know.
I would do a cooking class. I think a cooking class would be fun.
I don't know how to dance. I just can't dance.
Well, and that's the thing. I like cooking. I don't like dancing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think anything, whatever the interests are, like if there's a shared interest.
That's true.
You know?
Communicate openly and honestly, obviously. Stay active together. Not only does it benefit your health, it also benefits your relationship. Me and my husband go to the gym all the time together and I love it.
Yep.
Reinvent date nights. I think this is a good idea. Stop doing the typical boring date night and do something different, like board game nights or theme-based dinners or stargazing, something different, out of the box. Don't you think? Be
Yeah,
creative.
I agree with that. Yep.
Cook or bake together. Plan surprises. Hide things in their wallets or in their lunchbox.
Your little love notes.
I write my husband, he travels for work, and I'll like print out a picture of my face, like a selfie, and an ugly picture of my face, and like stick it in his suitcase and surprise him with
awesome.
love notes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Support each other's dreams. So those are the ones. Foster a spirit of forgiveness. There's always going to be conflict in a relationship. You can't harp on about it. And then celebrate each other. Celebrate your partner's successes. Which obviously. So the women's, you want to hear the women's one?
Yes.
Geared towards the women. How to spice up your marriage,
Now,
ladies.
is this written by a guy for the women or?
I don't know, but I think it's written by a woman for women. Ways to spice up your marriage. Give light spanking a shot. Book a hotel stay.
It's going to be all sexual.
It is. Book a hotel stay where you don't have to clean.
Yeah.
Switch up your positions.
Well,
Bring in all the sex toys, ladies.
Oh my God, this is so funny. It's so different than the men's one.
Different. Play a sex-related game.
This is crazy. This is like.
Because the men think, if I'm
more romantic,
something sexual, they're gonna judge me and they're gonna think that's all I want is sex. So I need to go the romance route.
Yeah.
Start sexting when you're away. I do think that's important. My husband travels for work all the time, so you have to get a little naughty when they're away. Role play.
Hey, not when they're away. I am a proponent for sexting like
all the
every
time?
day.
When they're at work? Make it brandy when they're at the office?
Yeah. Or like, have you seen those videos where it's like, I sending my husband a spicy text when he's having dinner with his parents,
Oh gosh,
Or
that's
like,
hilarious.
like they're at the in-laws for like Sunday dinner or something, and she sends him like a spicy text across the dinner table when he's sitting next to his mom and dad, like to see his face.
That's
like
hilarious.
I think that's cute. That's
That is
fun.
cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got to spice it up. Add food to the mix, whipped cream, and feeding each other. Didn't you say there's like a feeding fetish out there? People love feeding each other. That's funny.
Yeah, it's
Snag
weird.
some lingerie. I'm a big advocate of buying sexy lingerie, putting on some heels and doing a little dance,
Agreed.
making a little love.
I'm an advocate of that too, actually. I mean, not for me.
Men's thongs, anyone?
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Okay, this one, I've never tried this, and I don't know if I'd be inclined to, but try temperature play, using an ice cube blowing hot air onto each other. How do you guys feel about that?
Ice cubes are good.
You've never tried an ice cube?
No.
Oh, Linz.
I just don't like to be cold. I need a blanket. Okay, you can do an ice cube now.
You have to get all prepared for your ice cream.
Go the other end of the spectrum and do hot wax.
Hot wax?
Yeah. Isn't that a thing?
Yeah, does that feel good though?
I don't know. I've never done
Have you
it.
done hot wax?
I mean,
Does it burn?
it does it first.
You've done it? So does it feel good?
Well, I don't think you could call it feeling good, but I mean, it's something.
It's
So
like
you
pain
seem
is
like
it's
you've
like pain is pleasure, right?
They do say pain is
Yeah.
pleasure, yeah.
Yeah.
So you seem like you've experimented a lot. What's the craziest thing you've done in the bedroom?
Oof.
He's tried liquid.
I don't know. I mean, the last many years have been kind of mellow, but no, I had some fun in college.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it.
Now chicken, wow. We all had fun in college, crazy college days. That's why we're glad there's no photographic
There was no-
evidence
yes,
of
there
it.
was no-
I know.
there was no
I feel
phones
bad
back
for
then.
the kids these days.
yeah.
It's brutal.
Oh my God.
It is.
Did you see that video of the Golf Open yesterday? That man that was going on a very, very racist, sexist rant.
No.
And it went viral. He was wasted and he had his company shirt and company hat on.
idiot.
It's been
No.
fired, but it's on all the news
The
stations.
guy
But
probably
again,
doesn't keep his job, right?
luckily, no,
she
yeah,
said he
right.
was been
Oh,
fired
he's
since
been
then.
fired
Oh, he
since.
was.
It was bad. You should look it up. But thank God when we were drunk in our days, there were no.
Seriously.
there was
Yeah, no, we
videos.
wouldn't probably go down that route, but still.
It's true. We wouldn't
yeah.
go down that road.
But-
Absolutely not.
But there's some things at parties that I've done that I'm really glad are not
There-
around to be documented. So
Right? Ain't it the truth? And then let's see, have makeup sex. Again, it's all sexual. Give upside down oral a try. Isn't that 69?
Yeah,
Right?
I assume.
I'm not sure you could hang from the rafters and do that.
I think there's other ways.
Oh,
Yeah.
six swings, maybe.
A swing,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
maybe. I don't know, or one of those one of those like.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
see those chairs.
There's
Yeah.
like an apparatus that women can sit on so that when you're riding the guy, it's not so much work for you. Your thighs don't start burning. It like
Just
helps
go
you
to the gym, ladies. Like,
some
don't
squats.
skip leg day.
Don't skip leg day. Take control. Ensure you get the orgasm that you want. Incorporate pre-sex Yoda. Help you get into the right mindset. Go public if you can, but be careful of each city's jurisdictions because you don't want to end up in the back of a cop car.
Have you ever read a city's jurisdictions before?
Before engaging in public sex.
Sorry, honey. One moment, please.
Let me check the cities bylaws.
Hilarious. The next one's take it to the back seat. Yep, car sex, which I
Yep.
think we've all done, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
kind of fun. Steam up the windows. Try different penetration techniques. They talk about pegging, how a lot of people are into pegging. We've known a lot of women that love to peg and that proposition guys about pegging. I actually went on a first date one time. And like I said before, if I was kind of feeling that conversation was getting stale, I'd be like, so what are your fetishes? What are your kinks? And this one guy said, I like to wear women's lingerie while a woman puts on a strap on and pegs me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of guys are into that. But anyways, they talk about pegging and they talk about anal play is the last one. You should not get intimidated. There are small anal beads, small butt plugs, strap-ons, and you can even try oral sex on the anus, aka rimming, which I did not know what rimming was until one of our last episodes. So there you have it. That's
That is
advice for the women.
100% of those were sexual.
They were, and 0% of the ones to men
Isn't
Yeah.
that
were
hilarious?
sexual. Like they were all like romance and wine and dine,
Right.
and all the ones geared to the ladies were sexual. That's so
Yes.
interesting.
So now it's time for the celebrity cut where we marinate in the juices of the celebrities. So have you heard Owen Wilson? I was reading an article about him and his children, how he has 3 children. Are you familiar with this story?
No.
So he has 3 children from 3 different mothers. The first 2 are boys. One is from his personal trainer, one's from an ex-girlfriend. His youngest is a daughter from an ex-girlfriend. He's very active and involved in the boys' lives, but he refuses to have anything to do with his daughter.
That's terrible.
Yeah, when he filled out the court documents, he checked the box that says seeking no visitation rights, no involvement. He pays, obviously. But even though the mother has begged and pleaded for him to be involved in the life, because every kid needs a father. He just refuses to. And I don't know what happened. I don't know the backstory or what goes on behind closed doors. But what is more important than being in your kids' lives, right?
I can't imagine.
That's shitty.
Yeah. I have 2 boys and a girl as well, and I cherish my relationship with every one of them.
Right? So whatever drama happened between him and the mother, like, put that aside. Like, be there for your kid.
And someone of his stature, like it's like, oh, maybe she's not his or something like that. But at that, like, you would think that a paternity test would be super easy. Like, it's been proven that this is in fact his child,
and
right?
Pays,
like,
so
and
it's his child. I just feel bad for the girl.
That's terrible. I have a lot of that. I've lost a lot of respect for him.
Right?
For that.
I know, and he's so private, so he will never let us know what happened. But I do have a funny story about Owen Wilson, a personal story. So I was in Vancouver with my friend Sabine, this blonde bombshell, and we were at this club, and Owen Wilson happens to be sitting right next to us. We weren't fraternizing, weren't in the same group, but he was just sitting right next to us. We go on the dance floor. He goes on the dance floor with his bodyguard and another gentleman, and we're kind of dancing. Again, not together, but I go to take a picture of my friend. Yes, I was trying to take a picture of Owen Wilson, who was in the background. So I'm sneaking a picture, and his bodyguard comes up to me and demands that I give him my phone. And I was feeling a little feisty because I'd been drinking tequila. So I'm like, no, this is my phone. And he keeps insisting I give him my phone. I'm like, no, it's my legal right to take a picture. This is a public place. And this is my phone. I'm not legally obligated to give you my phone. Turns out when we got kicked out of the club, we got the boot.
You did?
Yeah, we got the boot because I wouldn't hand over my phone. What was he going to do with my phone? What, just delete the picture?
Probably delete the picture.
And big deal, I have a picture of Owen Wilson dancing with his male friends at a nightclub. Like, what's he trying to hide?
I thought you were going to say he was coming out looking for Kid 4.
But what's funny is then, like, fast forward 3 weeks later, I'm getting my hair done in the salon, and I'm reading US Magazine, and I see in the gossip column, Owen Wilson spotted in Vancouver in the same nightclub, whatever the name was, partying it up with 2 blonde bombshells.
No.
So, like, we were the ones partying it up with Owen Wilson.
That's hilarious.
That like media
Did you save that? You could attach your picture to that.
That's funny. We weren't partying together. We were actually in an altercation getting kicked out of the club.
That was him partying.
That was, you guys were probably his, what do they call those? The beard. You were probably his beard. Like, he was probably there with the guys. Like, if he was dancing with men, maybe he was trying to hide, who knows? Maybe Owen Wilson's on the DL.
Maybe he
plays for the
and
other
maybe
team.
He wanted everyone to think
that he was partying with 2 blonde bombshells. Maybe you guys,
are onto
right?
something,
Isn't that what they
Jess.
call it? Your beard? Like, that's your beard?
So
I
hiding
haven't
from the
heard
truth
that.
or whatever?
Yeah, when you're gay. It's like if you're gay, you have I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that
maybe.
is not a bad angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's definitely
you guys
hiding
were his
something.
beard.
Because why was he so insistent on me deleting that picture? Who cares if he's at a club partying?
Exactly, because he was dancing with other dudes.
Yeah, maybe
Or other.
his
I say
lover.
other dudes as if maybe he has a dude on the DL. You never know. I don't know.
So Pete, I want to know, what is your favorite place to take a girl out on a first date?
So I've kind of been changing my perspective on this. It used to be, well, I still think that happy hours are the easiest time-wise to arrange to go out and just have a drink at happy hour and call it that. What I have found is that usually then leads to dinner, and honestly, I think there's some professional daters out there that, like, they go to the happy hour, they order food, and they get their free food and drink. So
we have a friend. We've talked about this on an episode before, but we had a friend who years ago, probably 10 years ago, she was doing that.
Yeah.
She would
Lining up
schedule
dates every
she
night.
was lining up dates every night, and sometimes more than one in the same night, because she'd eat her dinner at happy hour and then she'd go to dinner and take that food home with her because it would be with someone else. She'd
That's another level.
baby bird it, like, oh, I'm so full, I can't eat another bite, but let me box up my steak dinner. And then she'd take it home, and then she'd have lunch for the next day, and then she'd have a dinner date lined up the next night.
Yeah.
for dinner. Like, we literally have had a friend that did that exact thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've experienced some of that, although I won't do dinner on a first date. For one, if there's no connection, now you're stuck for that amount of time.
It's
Both people are, right? And so it's not. So I'm modifying that. I really do think like a coffee date is the best first date, just to see. But the problem with that is you're limited to Saturday or Sunday, which can get busy for some people on the weekends as well. So I think it still probably ends up being like a happy hour thing. But
I think is a great place for a first date is Postino's. Like, they
Postino's
have
is
happy hour
great.
all day. It's $6 for any glass of wine, any mini pitcher of beer.
Yep.
Their bruschetta boards are very inexpensive. It's inexpensive. The atmosphere is great.
great, yep.
I love Postino's. I
just took my parents there on Monday night, actually. Yeah. I like that place.
Yeah, I like there. I like Oso is another
I love
good
Oso.
one.
Their Bloody Marys. I used to hate Bloody Marys until Oso.
Oh yeah.
Their Bloody Marys are the best. Have you tried them?
Oh,
The
yeah.
meat sticks.
Yep. No, they're great.
Love gnawing on a meat stick. Anyhow, now we are down for the juiciest segment of the show.
Well, I
the
thought
meat
we
grab.
started out with the juiciest segment.
We got to start and end on juicy.
Start
Okay.
and end. Are you down for the challenge? Up for the grab? Willing to share? Pick one if you dare. Some
not-
questions are innocent. Some are not so innocent.
Yeah, I know. I've heard. Did you set me up with the one on the top? Oh, jeez. Can I make up my own?
What is that?
All right.
Read it first. Let's see.
Okay. If you could have sex with one person from your past again, who would it be?
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotta be
Wow.
honest.
I really hope this person doesn't watch. So, wow, that is that's a great question. So, I dated this. So my college years were fun and interesting, I should say, and I met this woman who kind of mentored me, if you will.
Sexually.
Yes.
Mentor.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
She was a teacher, like a professional dominatrix.
Yeah.
Where did you go to college, by the way? Let me interrupt you for
in
just a
Fargo,
second.
North Dakota State.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. So,
Okay. Set the
great
scene.
school, by the way. Go Bison. But it was freezing. I love Scottsdale much more. But anyway, she was an amazing woman. And, of course, back then there's no cell phones or email or anything. And so she left after my freshman year and went to the University of Minnesota. And so I kind of lost touch with her. And I've kind of looked for her, but couldn't find her. But she's that's probably who I would pick. Her name was Cecily. So.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, interesting.
Before we wrap up, I just have to make this comment. So when we were chatting initially, you were describing your perfect girl, and you were like, someone that flies by the seat of her pants, and that she's free and she loves to travel and she's active. For me, you were describing Jess. So I have to say this. Like, it seems because she loves to travel and go on these adventures. Are my matchmaking radars correct in that you might be a good match, or am I off?
I thought we had a match for him already.
Do we? Oh, maybe we have multiple matches.
That was her way of saying no.
Anyways,
I'm not in the business of dating guests. I would like you to be able to have the full experience of the show.
because I bet there's going to be many women, by the way. He's tall. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
6'2". Every woman that we interview, they want a tall man. And it's very rare that you meet a tall man. So we have a tall man here for you. So thank you so much. That's a wrap. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of The Meat Market. Thank you, Pete. If you want to meet Pete, send us a DM at Meat Market Podcast. And don't forget to like, follow, and share. And thank you so much to our sponsor, Tactical Tax Strategies. If you want to preserve your wealth this tax season and keep more in your wallet, you need to contact Tactical Tax Strategies. Thanks again. See you next week at the Meat Market. Oh my God, I just totally got catfished. He looks absolutely nothing like his picture.
So I found out the guy that I've been dating is married with kids. His wife just reached out to me.